Hello, my name's Mr. Cook and I'm the Head of Humanities at Holgate Academy. I'd like to tell you about Edexcel GCSE History. First of all, I wanted to show you a quote that says you have to know the past to understand the present. And I wanted to just emphasise the importance of history as a subject. The only way people make decisions and successful decisions in the future or the present is by knowing what's gone before you. Any politician or business owner will use their experience, and experience is essentially history of what they've done previously to then make informed decisions in the future. So that's why history as a subject is really important. It's not the way some people perceive it. It's just boring, it's been and gone. It was what people did before. All I care about is the future. Well, actually, history allows us to have that future by showing where we've made the mistakes and been successful in the past. So, why GCSE history? As I've just said, it gives you that idea of hindsight, of experience. It allows you to look at things that have gone before, to comment on them, to think about them, to think how people might have done something differently and been more successful, to have a look at mistakes that have been made in the past and how they could be changed and made the world a better place. So, first thing and the most important thing about history for me is that fact that you get to look back. The second thing about history that's really something you've got to be interested in is the thirst for knowledge. Why do you want to do GCSE? Because I want to know new things. I want to find out about what's happened in the past. And that's something that's really important in history, to keep learning new things every lesson you go to. The third thing I've put is the bigger picture. And when studying history, because it's gone before, it allows you to look at all the different factors that affect something. And that's a really important skill, to have that strategic thinking, to be able to think that bigger picture. And by doing that in history, you can apply that skill to your life. And that's a really important skill if you want to go into the workplace, to be able to be strategic. And that links in nicely to my last point. Historians are employable. They've got very good literacy skills, they've got very good analytical skills, they've got very good communication skills. And they're all things that the employer wants in the modern workplace. So, what will you be studying? What does the course look like? The course is broken up into actually 5 sections over 3 papers. The first paper is weighted 30%. It's an hour and 15 minutes and it's a terminal exam. And it's known as the thematic study. And what that means is they take a theme which you look at, which is medicine through time, and you see how that has developed and changed as time goes on. So, in this exam, you'll be looking at the way medicine's developed from 1250 to the 20th century to the modern day, and all the different factors that led to new discoveries, things being solved, and all those things that have changed medicine through time. Now, the second part, the second theme you'll study, is you will look at specifically how medicine changed during on the Western Front in World War One, and we'll focus on the British side of medicine. And there were things like X-rays, blood transfusions, plastic surgery, and you'll see how World War One actually accelerated the development of some of these medical advances. Now, the second paper is the biggest paper. It's worth 40% and it's an hour and 45-minute terminal exam. It's known as the period study and the British death study. So there's 2 aspects of history you'll study here. The period study is known as the American West, okay? And what you will look at with the American West is you will have a look at how the American country, or the United States of America, developed from its very beginnings with the European settlers and the indigenous people that were already there, and see how the conflict between those 2 groups of people as time went on led to certain things happening and shaping the way that America works today. The second aspect is to look at a piece of British history, and you will look specifically at the Anglo-Saxons and Norman England, okay? And that is the time under Edward the Confessor. Okay, so you'll be looking at what happened in 1066, you'll be looking at the rebellions, okay, and you'll be looking at the way in which Britain changed through the influence of that reign. Now, the final section is the section that interests me the most, and that's worth 30%, and it's known as the modern depth study. So you've looked at your British depth study, and that was looking at the Anglo-Saxons and Norman England. The modern depth study is looking at Germany and what happened between the world wars. So what happened with the great creation of the Weimar Republic in the wake of the loss in World War One, and what happened within that Weimar Republic in Germany that led to the rise of Hitler and the Nazis. And that's an incredibly interesting period of history, which is very engaging and something that's really important that we all learn, so something like that doesn't really happen ever again. So when you're studying this course, what skills will you gain? Well, historians are very good at analysing things because you'll be doing a lot of source work, and sources can be written, they can be photographs, they can be paintings, they can even be film, and you will look at those and pick out what the key features are. You'll be good communicators. You have to express yourself and explain what you think. You'll be able to research, find things out. You'll be using the internet, you'll be using sources, you'll be finding information, and you'll be acting on that information. There'll be good problem solving skills. So you'll be looking at what happened in the past and how you do that differently. What would you do to change something in history? Literacy skills. History is quite a literacy heavy subject. You'll be looking at how you can read things effectively, pick out the meanings within things, but also your writing skills are very important as well. Writing long answers, structuring paragraphs. And the final thing is debating. You'll be able to look at how you're going to argue your point of view, how you're going to do it in the right way, sensibly, and put your points across. All these skills are really important and can apply to the workplace. So, what do historians do with history? Well, there's the level 3 qualification that path that people follow, and that is A-levels, and you could literally just do an A-level in history. But the skills in history are also really useful in other subjects, English and English literature, languages, media studies, law, politics, business, sociology, psychology and philosophy. All are subjects where the skills you've learned in history, those investigative skills, those literacy skills, are really important. What do historians do? Well, a lot of historians go into things like law and economics, business, because of those skills I've talked about previously. In law, you need to be able to read, make an argument, make a case from the source of information that you've got. You need to be able to write reports. You need to understand things. These are all things that historians do well. Similarly in economics, there's similar skills of creating an argument, looking at the information, looking at what's gone before and predicting the future, are what historians are good at, and that's what you need in economics. You could teach history. That's a really good thing to do. Or you could look at something that's really history based, like archaeology, where you go and find out what's gone on in the past by digging it up. And jokingly, I've put Indiana Jones on there. It's not quite like that, but it's a similar way of working. And that's what history gives you that opportunity to do. Rather than just reading about it, you can actually go out, dig it up and find out about it. Why would you choose history at GCSE? First and foremost, because you like it. And that's a really key reason for taking any subject. There's no point doing something because you don't like it, or you like it less than something else or more than something else. You've got to enjoy doing it. Because you're interested and want to find out about the past. What's happened in different parts of the world? Why did it happen? And what effect has that had on us today? You want to gain those sought after skills, those literacy skills, those analysis skills, those argumentative skills, okay? Those skills that are really important in the workplace. You want to challenge yourself because, like all GCSEs, it's not easy. And you've got to really hone those skills to be successful. And finally, you want a linear academic subject. A linear subject meaning that you are examined at the end of the course, and finally something academic because it's based around a subject rather than the workplace. So, hope this has been useful, and I hope you consider taking GCSE History.